teachers. So some people feel sorry for me when I tell them that, because we had to do a lot of what? If both your parents are teachers, you're going to do a lot of what? Studying? Yes, sir. We sure would. That would be right. So, and Mom actually had this thing, Paul, that we had to study in the summertime. First, I'll go with against. And I'll tell you one thing happened this summer at the camp. I invited that player to come to the camp, and he came. The best defensive player that I ever played against, and I think the best defensive player maybe in the history of the NBA for a guard position, was Michael Cooper. You know, Cooper was so slim and so intent on playing defense. He could get around screens. He could just slide around them. Even Roundfield and Tree couldn't pick Cooper off. He could just slide around, and as soon as you got the ball, Cooper was long, and he was right there on you. You know, sometimes I was telling Cooper, I'm not going to shoot, I'm just trying to pass it, all right? You couldn't even pass the ball when Cooper was guarding you. But I always said he was the best defensive player that I'd ever played against. And Coop won 5 rings. Sometimes he doesn't get enough credit. You know, we credit the offensive player. And we say, oh, this player won 5 rings. Michael Cooper won 5 rings. And he was a key to the Lakers defense. He could guard anybody, guards, forwards. He guarded Bird. Anybody had a great scorer, Cooper wanted to get him, and he did. He was a fantastic player and a great guy. So he came out to the camp this summer, and he gave a great talk. All the kids loved him. He just did a fantastic job. And as you know now, Cooper is the coach of the Atlanta Dream. They've made it to the playoffs. They've done well. But I'm betting on Michael Cooper and the Dream to win a championship this year. That's what we're hoping for. That's a big challenge. They got some great competition. So, but he's doing a good job. The Dream are playing well, and I think Cooper is by far the toughest guy I've had to play against. And then offensively, Jordan was in his early years, so of course it's Michael Jordan. That's always a huge challenge. Anytime you play against him in junior high, I guess. But while I was there, it was George Gervin. Gervin was in his prime. He was tall. He played guard, but he was like 6'8". He should have been a forward, so he could just shoot over you. He could bank it off the glass. And Gervin had he could shoot hook shots on you with both hands, and he had these finger rolls that even Tree couldn't block. You know, usually Tree was a great shot blocker. We could just run people to Tree and say, get that Tree, because you get by me, I can start the fast break, because Tree's got you. But he would get in the lane and throw the finger roll, and it looked like Tree would swing at it 3 times. And then it just dropped through the net. So for me, Gervin was just impossible to guard. He was too tall, too talented, too smooth. You couldn't rattle him. You know, it was just an experience playing against Gervin at that time.
It's funny, MJ, of course, everyone starts their conversation by saying, we'll just put Michael over here.
Right.
Let's talk about everybody else.
You know? Right.
Yeah, Mr. Cooper was here actually this summer.
Oh, wow.
His appearances. It was great to have Michael here. He was a killer, also offensively.
Yes, sir.
Hit that 3s at the end of his career.
Yes, he would.
Good question, please.
You talked about Wilton being your hero during your early life. Who was your hero during your NBA career?
Oh, good question. And let me tell you something else since you mentioned that. This is gentleman writing a book now on who were some of the NBA's favorite people that they looked up to when they were growing up. So he called me on the phone and said, Mike, I'm writing this book. I'm kind of interviewing a lot of NBA players about who they idolize and who they look forward to growing up. And he asked me, and I said, my hero was Mildred Nelson. And he kind of repeated, I'm like, no, I mean, some of the guys picked Jim Brown, usually they picked basketball players though. And so I had to really explain, like, look man, my hero was Mildred Nelson. I'm telling you, I had to explain the whole thing to him, and he understood at that point. So early she certainly was, but then when I got ready to go into the pros, people ask me now who, you know, greatest player and all this kind of thing. And my first hero as far as an NBA player, that I always said, it's only been one perfect player in the NBA, and everybody else was human. So for me, that perfect player was Oscar Robertson. He was like my dad's favorite player. He was so good at everything. I mean, Oscar could defend, he could score, he could lead, he could pass, he could handle, he could assist. He was just like the perfect player that averaged a triple-double and